Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. Inspirational life stories in simple English. In 1820, a baby named Florence Nightingale is born. She is born into a big and fancy family in a beautiful city called Florence in Italy. Her parents, William and Frances Nightingale, are very important people. They decide to call her Florence, just like the city. But little do they know, this special baby girl will grow up to do something amazing that would change the world forever. Florence is a special girl with big dreams. She loves to learn and explore new things. She has a curious mind and always wants to know more about the world. Even though most girls her age are expected to get married and have families, Florence wants to do something different. She wants to help others and make a difference in the world. One day, Florence meets a friend who tells her about a special school for nurses in Germany. Florence is excited. She loves the idea of helping people and wants to learn all she can about nursing. She works hard and studies every day, learning all about taking care of people who are sick or hurt. Her teachers and friends are impressed by how much she knows and how much she cares. Finally, the day comes when Florence finishes her training and returns home. She feels proud of all she has learned and can't wait to use her skills to help others. She is determined to make a difference and change the world, one person at a time. Florence starts her job as a nurse in a hospital, but what she sees makes her heart heavy. Patients are lying in beds that are not clean, and they aren't even getting basic things like clean water. Florence knows she has to do something about it. She starts cleaning and making things better for her patients. She is always kind and caring towards them. Before long, Florence becomes famous for being a great nurse and caring for her patients like they were her own family. Everyone at the hospital looks up to her and is proud of her hard work and love for helping others. The British Secretary of War sits at his desk, surrounded by piles of paper and letters. He has a big problem on his hands. The Crimean War has started, and the wounded soldiers are arriving in large numbers. The Crimean War was a war between Russia and a group of other countries, including Turkey, Britain, and France. It was fought mainly in Crimea, which is a place near the Black Sea. It lasted from 1853 to 1856. He has heard about a woman named Florence Nightingale who is known for her nursing skills, and he thinks she might be the one to help. He picks up his dip pen and starts writing a letter. Dear Miss Nightingale, I hope this letter finds you well. Our brave soldiers in the Crimean War need your help. They are hurt and need medical care. I have heard that you are a wonderful nurse, and I think you are the perfect person to lead a team of nurses to Scutari in Turkey to care for the wounded. The British Secretary of War seals the letter and calls for a messenger to deliver it to Florence right away. Time is running out and the soldiers need her help. Florence has a big adventure ahead of her, and the future is filled with mystery and excitement. Florence and her team finally reach Scutari, Turkey, after a long journey by sea. They step off the boat and the first thing they notice is the unpleasant smell and the sound of wounded soldiers crying in pain. They are shocked by the terrible conditions in which the soldiers are being treated. This is a mess, Florence says. We need to step up and make things better. She divides the work among her team and gets started. One of her nurses, Mary, seems nervous. I don't know if I can handle this, Mary says. Florence gives Mary a pat on the back and a smile. We all have our fears, she says. But we're here to help these soldiers. Let's take it one patient at a time and make a difference. Florence jumps right in, determined to improve the lives of the wounded soldiers. She gathers a group of patients who are strong enough to help, and they begin scrubbing the hospital from top to bottom. They work tirelessly, determined to make the hospital a clean and pleasant place for the soldiers. As the night shifts into day, Florence never stops caring for the soldiers. She continues her rounds, checking on each soldier and offering words of comfort and hope. She even stays up late at night, helping to write letters to the families of the soldiers to let them know their loved ones are being taken care of. The soldiers watch her movements, amazed at her tireless energy. They begin to call her the lady with the lamp, as she carries her lamp from bed to bed, lighting the way. Others simply call her the Angel of Crimea. Florence knows that simply cleaning the hospital and caring for the soldiers is not enough. She wants to improve their quality of life while they are in the hospital. So she comes up with several new patient services. She creates a kitchen for special diets, a laundry for clean linens, and a classroom and library to provide intellectual stimulation and entertainment. As the days pass, the soldiers' spirits lift and their health improves. The hospital's death rate drops dramatically, and the lady with the lamp, or the Angel of Crimea, as others call her, becomes a legend. A few months have passed, and the soldiers have been responding well to Florence's improved care. Mary, one of the nurses, comes up to Florence with a big smile on her face. "Florence, have you seen the latest report?" Mary asks excitedly. "The number of deaths has gone down by 2/3 since you took charge." Florence smiles from ear to ear, happy to see the results of her hard work. "I told you we could make a difference," she says. "It's all about providing proper care, keeping the environment clean, and recording what works." Just then, a soldier enters the room, looking pale and weak. Florence rushes over to him. "I'll be right with you," she says kindly. "We're here to help you get better." As Florence takes care of the soldier, she thinks to herself how proud she is to be making a difference in the lives of these brave men. Florence has been working at the hospital for a long time now, and she has become a beloved figure among the soldiers and her nursing staff. One day, she receives a letter from England inviting her back home. She is torn, as she loves the work she is doing and the progress they have made, but she knows she needs to return to England to continue promoting better care for the sick. She gathers her team and shares the news. "I've received a letter from England," she says, trying to hide her sadness. "They want me to come back home." The nurses look at each other, not wanting to see Florence leave. "We will miss you," Mary says, her voice shaking a little. "But we know you will continue to make a difference wherever you are." Florence gives her team a smile, grateful for their support. "I will miss you all too," she says. "But my work here is not done. I will continue to fight for better care for the sick, no matter where I am." With that, Florence packs her bags and sets off for England, ready to continue her mission to improve the lives of those in need. Florence has returned to England and is now giving speeches and writing about her experiences in Scutari. People are listening, and the public is starting to demand better conditions for hospitals. Florence is invited to meet with the Queen of England, who wants to learn more about her work. She feels nervous but excited as she makes her way to the palace. When she arrives, the Queen greets her warmly and they sit down to talk. "Miss Nightingale, I have heard so much about your work," the Queen says, and her eyes are shining with interest. "Please, tell me more." Florence takes a deep breath and begins to share her story. She talks about the terrible conditions she encountered in Scutari, and how she and her team of nurses made a difference. "Your Majesty, I saw firsthand the importance of proper care and hygiene," Florence says, her voice ringing with passion. "We can save lives and prevent suffering if we just make some simple changes." The Queen listens intently, nodding in agreement. "Miss Nightingale, I want to help. How can I support your cause?" Florence is overjoyed, realizing that she is making a real impact. With the Queen's support, she knows she can continue to make a difference and improve the lives of people everywhere. After returning to England, Florence continues to work tirelessly to improve the standards of healthcare. She wants to write a book about her experiences. Florence sits at her desk, surrounded by piles of notes and documents. She has been working on her book for months, and she is finally seeing the finish line. She picks up her dip pen and continues to write. As she writes, memories of her time in Scutari come flooding back. She relives the challenges she faced, the victories she won, and the lessons she learned. She writes with a sense of urgency, knowing that the information in her book could save lives. Her book becomes a bestseller and is used to train nurses all over the world. Inspired by her own experiences, Florence realizes the need for a specialized training center for nurses. Soon after, Florence is at a meeting, surrounded by a group of influential people. She stands up and clears her throat. Ladies and gentlemen, she begins. I dream to change the world, one nurse at a time. We need a place where nurses can learn the skills they need. A place where they can be trained in the latest techniques and practices. The audience listens in silence, and when Florence finishes, there is a round of applause. Florence knows that she has their support, and she sets to work gathering funds and finding a location for her nurse training center. She works tirelessly to gather support and funds for the project, and finally, her dream becomes a reality. The first nurse training center in the world opens its doors. The center is an instant success, and Florence's standards of care are implemented in hospitals all over the world. She trains a new generation of nurses, who go on to make a difference in their own way, just as she did. As she watches the young nurses graduate and go out into the world, Florence is filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment. She knows that her legacy will live on, inspiring future generations to make a difference in the world and improve the standards of healthcare. Florence Nightingale's key principles. Florence Nightingale believed that a healthy environment is important for healing. These 5 principles are the most important: pure air, pure water, efficient drainage, cleanliness, and light. In other words, to be or become healthy, we must have clean air, clean water, good waste management, be clean, and get plenty of sunlight. These principles remain important for health and well-being, even more so today.